when I'm listening to you, it's like it feels so natural, you know, to behave this way. And yet, what you said is our mind that it's you know, making things a little bit more complicated or more complex during this time. And you joke about the mindful with an L or with a double L, right?
Yes.
So how do we move from the mindful, full of a lot of things, to the mindful of being, you know, present and all these sorts of gratitude that you are mentioning? How do we move from one to another?
How to move from one to another. So let's say, as a person, if I have to study all the texts, it's very difficult, right? If I have to study all the texts, very difficult. Then rather than that, like, just focus on one thing first. Focus on one thing. Then use the same method and technique to all. It's much more better, right? So yesterday I was watching the movie Moana, the
Mhm.
title, the Moana, and in that Moana, there's a song, and wait a minute, let me check it. Uh, where is it? Moana. In that one, what it says is, uh, I know that someone has taken your heart, and but this, then you don't have to be, as it is something, you know who you are, something like that. Wait a minute, wait a minute. It's very good.
You'll find it.
Moana, Moana songs. Anyway, yeah, you're welcome. Always welcome. Growth. Wanna have fun and relax.
How did you find out about this movie?
Yeah, it's on the Netflix. No. It's on the Amazon Prime, I think. We know the way. I don't know. Is this the one?
Mhm.
No, that's not the one. Anyway, yeah,
We'll look for it.
yeah.
We'll find it later. One,
So,
yeah.
so anyway, we shouldn't forget who we are, right? We are a human being, and we have got a brain, and we have got a mind that the animal doesn't have, like. So we should be able to use this intelligent in a constructive way rather than the destructive way.
And when you see, because I've talked with a lot of people recently, and they after a while, because here we are in lockdown for almost 2 months, right? So after a while, they start to wondering about their own life.
Yes.
Yeah, and the purpose of their life, and did I make the right choices in my life, and is this the right job or the right career I want to have, and they start wondering a lot, right? So how could we help somebody to actually discover their purpose, right, and find the find the path for them?
So in a life, I think, let's say, we should have 2 or 3 ambitions rather than having only one. Why? Because if the one doesn't work, we can go for the second. And if the second doesn't work, we can go for the third. So when we have only one aim and ambition and it doesn't fulfill it, like the wishes as you have thought, then we fall into downfall. Then we think that, oh, I'm failed, right? So the good thing is there's a word called substitute, right? If A doesn't work, B works. If B doesn't work, C works, like that. If I say, I want only Coke, right? Then I'm showing a grumpy and stubbornness. And if there's no Coke, I have to think, yeah, at least they have a Pepsi. It will have a Pepsi will also help to quench your thirst, right? So like the same way, the college students, once they finish their high school, some of them, they just apply to only one college, not to the others. And then they have and when they don't get selected, then they waste their whole life and change the whole career, right? This is not the way. And like 2 or 3 options. Then also for the decision in the Tibetan, what do we say? Discuss with the others. In the end, take your own decision, right? Then the second comes the fear. Oh, whether I'll get selected or not. If we remove the fear from our heart, right, our mind, then it will give us a lot of sense of pleasure. Then in terms of the decision, the thing is, what do we say? Even at let's say at the present, if you are losing something, but in the future, if you are gaining something, you should go for that. But most of us, what do? At present, we are gaining something, but in the future, we are losing something. And we choose the second decision, right? We are thinking about the present and not thinking about the past, right? Not thinking about the future. So then automatically in the future, we get lots of regret. Oh, I shouldn't have done that like this. So the wise decision will be the first one, right? Even though I'm losing something, but in the future I will gain something. So the life itself, it's impermanent. We'll never know, right? And as I always tell to the students that if you are a religious-minded person, think that it's a God's will if something goes wrong. And if you are academic people, just think that it's Murphy's law. Yeah, if something has to go wrong, will go wrong. And if you are kind of like this one, who believes in the karma, then think that welcome to the karma cafe. There's no menu. You will serve what you deserve, right? Then because thinking that what will happen, if we don't try it, we will never know what will happen, right? So there's one a movie, a boy asked to the girl that in the beginning when we met each other, why did you reject me? And what kind of boy are you expecting? That he is asking to her. And she was telling, a boy with a good character, sense of humor, good job, and all these things. And all of a sudden the boy says, look, I have a friend. And what he did was he purchased a car, a very good car, and he never drives. And I asked to him, why you're not driving it after purchasing it? And he was saying, I will drive when all the traffic lights will become green. And she was telling, how can it be how it will show a green light, right? Like the same way I'm telling to you, without giving a chance, and how you will know that he is such and such, right? Like the same way thinking that, oh, I won't get this, I won't be able to do this, I won't be able to do that. Important thing is we need to try, right? And by trying, if nothing happens, then at least we won't have any regret, right? I tried my level best and nothing works. And it seems like it's not written in my destiny. I can try something else. So, like the Shantideva, the Indian great Buddhist master says, if there is a remedy for a problem, why you should worry? If there is no remedy for a problem, there is no point of worrying. Like the same way, by doing this, if there is no chances at all, right, then we shouldn't try for it. We should go for something else. So that's why, what do they say? Harsh reality is better than false hope. Harsh reality is better than false hope. Thinking that by squeezing the stone, I will extract the oil from it. No, no way. So, yes, so the decision, as I told you earlier, there are now these days lots of career counselors. And one should also ask to oneself what I am capable of, right? And what gives me the pleasure and interest, and go for it, right? So now these days it's very strange in the Tibetan schools too. Once we finish the class 10, then we have to choose a subject, whether art, science, commerce. We have to choose the one of these three. And some says, my friend goes in the arts, in the science. I will also join science. You're not going to live forever together, right? So now these days, we are, rather than questioning oneself what you are capable of, right? We just depends on the friends, where they are going, right? Then the friends, they choose the science subject by thinking that, yeah, I want to do this. I want to become a scientist. I want to become a doctor. Then you should study the science, right? You say that I want to become a kind of like a library teacher, like that. Then there's no point of like choosing the science, right? So many people in India, they do the same thing. They did a master's in business. Then afterwards, they are doing again a nursing course. So it's a totally different. So right from the very beginning, I think it's important to study and to get a seek help from these career counselors. Why? Because, and also from the elders. What we think is what I ever think is correct, and we have a sense of like ego and the pride, and we feel, and also not only a sense of ego and pride, sometimes we feel ashamed to get a help from someone else, right? So we just try to study by ourselves, look in the Google, like that.
How many answers
So,
can we find in the Google?
huh?
How many answers can we find in Google?
There are like lots of answers which are they're wrong in the Wikipedia too. We're just giving a wrong information. I'm not saying that they all are giving the right answers and the wrong answers. Sometimes they give the right answer, sometimes they give the wrong answer. But what do we say? Google don't answer all the questions. Sometimes you will get the answer through the experience. That's why Buddha says experience. If you say practice love and compassion, it will give you lots of joy and happiness. What? And what's the joy and happiness? Unless and until we experience it, we won't understand. That's why I always just tell like the people who don't understand what the suffering is, they will consider happiness itself as a suffering.
Yes.
Like that. So this lockdown has helped us and has given an opportunity, a time to improve oneself, right? In the things that we are lacking. And it helps us to develop oneself from the within.
My dear Geshe, it's been a long time I'm keeping you on this call, and I'm like, okay, I can talk with you for hours and hours and hours, but maybe one day if you have time, maybe we'll do it again. So I have so many other topics and conversation topics, let's say, right? One of the things that I love about this lockdown is that it's allowing us to connect deeply. And when you talk about joy, for me, is the joy of connection as well, not only to oneself, but to the other. And connecting with you, it's more than a joy. It helps me grow, but it's also the joy of being here with you, you know, just in this present moment and just having this conversation with no other agenda, you know, just being here. So I want to thank you a lot.
You can ask one more question, then we can stop.
Okay, so I want to ask a difficult question, because a lot of people over here, they are quite a lot dependent on love, receiving love, and, you know, I'm falling in love with this person and they make me suffer and all that stuff. So what would you say to those people?
Life is full of beautiful things, right? Life is full of beautiful things. And in the Buddhism, most of people, they get wrong, let's say, information or wrong interpretation. So the Buddhist says detach, detach, detach. There's also one thing called His Holiness the Dalai Lama has written a book called The Beyond Religion. In that one, he has said, attachment, there are two things, constructive and destructive, right? As for the constructive attachment, it gives you a bonding, and improve the relationship between the couples like that, right? Then, as for this one, destructive, it's more of like possessive love. The possessive love, it's more of like one-side love, right? Then, say either boy or a girl attached, too much attached, and having a sense of like jealousy feeling too. Who is she? Who is he? Why you didn't answer my phone call? And why you are going with that girl? Why you are going with that boy? Like that. And you want to use the other person as a machine, and you are the one who want to have the remote control, right? And as long as the Dalai Lama tells us that whenever I go to Washington, they keeps on introducing me, my old friends, keeps on introducing me, this is my new wife. This is my new wife. So as for us, it's innate nature that the animals, the social animals, they get attracted to the opposite of the sex like that. Then there are different ways of the animal in the animal kingdom, including human being behavior to choose their partner, right? Some, they choose their partner of the physical outfit, looking only to the physical beauty, right? And some, they don't, like some, they check not on the physical beauty, but on the mental beauty, right? The way he thinks or the way she thinks like that. And some, they just choose their partner on their hardships, right? So like the knitting birds, right? The females, they just go and check all the nests, and the males, they have to build the nest, right? And like the peacocks, right? The female peacocks, they don't choose the partners straight away. Male partners, they have to dance and show the feathers and all these things, right? So as for us, like we human beings, we used to say that we are smart, right? We don't use this wisdom. Straight away, we get attracted. So that's why, what do they say? First-sighted love, right? Without knowing the other person, their life and whatever it may be, we straight away go and keep a relationship. Then at that time, what do we say? Oh, I can't leave you without, like, even for a single day, just for a minute, it looks like I'm waiting for years and ages. And after a few years, or like after a few months, you say, I don't want to see your face, go away. Uh, like that. We change. Now the economic, since we are attracted to the physical, right? The physical beauty fades, right? And in the economic too, what do they say? Law of marginal utility and law of diminishing return. The more you use, you get lose interest in it, right? But as for the physical beauty, it happens. So that's why what we say is the people who tries to seek a happiness from the outside, the material, they won't get the long-lasting happiness. Though they will get some sorts of happiness, they won't get long-lasting. The people who tries to look at happiness from the within by showing a self-contentment and all these things, it will help. Now, in terms of the relationship, the secret of long-lasting relationship is understanding, right? When we don't have a transparency, right, in relationship, then there is a kind of like the no understanding, right? Right. Then no, first, yes, the no transparency. Then the distrust. Yes. When there's no transparency, there's a distrust. And when there's a distrust, there's a fear. When there's a fear, then there's no understanding at all, right? So when we have a transparency, then we will have a kind of like uh, a trust, right? When there's a trust, then there's no fear. Fear and friends, they can't go together. Understanding, they can't go together. So the people who are always trust, like through an understanding between the couples, their relationship lasts long, right? And it's very strange as for the we human beings, right? At the time of marriage and before the marriage too, we make lots of promises. I will do this, I will do that, I will help you in all conditions, right? But we still like fool each other. Uh, we don't have understanding. We fool each other, we deceive each other. And as for the animals like penguin, right, and the wild dogs, right, like once they choose their partner, they're a partner for their whole life, right? And they don't make any promises. They take an oath in front of all the people, but still they are very true, loyal to one's own partner. And if we look very carefully, in the earlier times, the couples, let's say like our father and mothers, they are very true to and loyal to their own partners. That's why like they were able to celebrate 50 years of marriage anniversary like that. Now these days, not even a 1 year. We spent so much of money for the at the time of wedding, and we got divorced after a month, right? So yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange. So I'm not saying that now these days the people they are attracted more towards to the physical outfit rather than the thinking, judging on the inner beauty and all these things. And there are lots of things to divert our mind, right? So there's one in Bollywood. There's one song, Lecha Lecha.
Yeah, I love it.
You know that song? Uh, Lecha, like that.
Mhm.
Kunia, lecha, something like that. Oh, is this the one? Doli saja ke rakhna, like that. So the bride, the girl is telling to the boy is telling to the girl that you are so beautiful that I couldn't sleep for the whole night.
Mhm.
And the girl in reply, what she says is, if I'm beautiful, it's not my fault. You have to control your own mind.
Later, I
Yes.
will find the song and I will put it
Uh,
under so people can
uh,
dance a little bit on it.
yeah. So yes. So the thing is, we understand like no, it's sad thing. Now these days we have lots of cases of divorce and all these things, right? Uh, understanding. Yes. So the most important thing is understanding and respecting each other and helping each other in one's need at the time of need. So yes. So now these days when people get divorced, if they have a children, if they don't have a children, then it's okay, right? As long as they don't have a children, it's okay. Once they have a children and when they get divorced, it's very sad. Why? Because father and mother, they go and live with a new partner and the children psychology get most affected and they don't get the love. Then in the future too, they're afraid of getting married, afraid of keeping a relationship, thinking that I will become same like my parents,
Mm.
right? So it develops a sense of insecure. Father and mother happy, but children is the real victim who suffers, right? Yeah. So yes, to have a strong relationship, its secret is understanding.
Mm. Thank you so much. It's such, I mean, yeah, I'm reflecting so much in the same time. So I'm listening and reflecting, which is the beauty of a recorded video is like after that you go back and you listen as many times as you want and you keep reflecting. So it's they call it
One of
dream.
yes, one of my friend's father, the in McLeod. It's very, it's a fact. Like, but it's a very strange. And one day he came to see me and asked me, Geshe. I said, yes, let's go and have a cup of tea. I said, okay. Then after like while drinking a tea, and all of a sudden what he said, you know that I've got three sons and they are very well off, like family, they are very good. And they said, I'm looking a bride for a girl for my eldest son. And he told me, I've been doing lots of inquiry. And I said, what inquiry? And what he said to me was, I just go and check on lots of girls, right? And he said, for some, they have a beauty, but they don't have brains. And some, they have a brain, but they don't have beauty. And some, when they have both these, they don't have character. And I'm looking for a girl who has got all these qualities. And he said to me, and you know lots of girls, you have like you have got schoolmates and the college mates, and you know lots of girls. And can you introduce me some of girls to me? I said, look, from the Buddhist perspective, it talks about the impermanent, right? And as for me, what I noticed was some of the girls and some of the boys, after having a child, their beauty fades. they don't remain the same beautiful and handsome as before, right? And as for the character, some of the boys and girls before the marriage, they are so good. After marriage, they become so bad. And some before marriage, they are so bad. And after marriage, they become so good. So it's very hard to understand, right? As for the wisdom is concerned, the thing is, if after the marriage, if they study further, then they will acquire more knowledge. Otherwise, it will remain the same as it is. Then, if you want a girl with all these qualities, that their beauty don't fade away, and their character is always good, and they have lots of wisdom, then I told him to pray to Tara. Tara is a female deity, a female bodhisattva, and request her to come down on this earth and to be a wife of your son. It's very strange. Yeah, and again, one time in Delhi, me and some of our students, we were just walking, and a guy kept on staring at me. And once we left the cafe, I went to the bathroom, to the restroom, and the guy was coming after me too, and asked me, "Are you a monk?" And I said, "Yes." And unexpected question. And he said, "I need help." I said, "What?" "I'm in love with one girl, and I tried her best, but still she doesn't love me. Do you have any kind of magic spell that I can spell on her and she will love me?" I said, "What?" So he thought like we have got some sort of kind of like black magic that you can attract. And I said, "Oh, I don't know anything." I said, "I don't know any mantra or tantra to attract someone for you, right?" I said, like, "Express your love." And he said, like, "I did everything, right? I gave her time, I gave her money, I gave all the things what she needs." And I said, "Oh, then by doing everything, and if still she doesn't fall for you, then," I told her, "forget for 1 or 2 months. Then she will realize that you are important. He is helping me, and he fulfill my satisfaction, the things that I need, and then she will fall in love." I said, "I did everything, still she doesn't fall in love with me." Then I said, "There's a word called akarma, and if she is not written in your destiny, forget her. And she's not the only girl. There's a word called substitute, right? And look for other girl." And I said, "This is the practical and realistic. And sorry, I don't have any mantra to teach you." Yeah.
All that in the end, the poor guy, what did he do?
And he smiled, and I left. What can I do? Right.
Well, he followed you, so he needed to hear something, right? So you gave
Yes. I told her this is a life, and this is the practical and realistic, right? If despite trying so many times, if she's not falling in love with you, then it may not be written in your destiny, right? And I said, there's a word called substitute. And she's not the only one that, and the world will come to an end. So yeah.
Well, I like it, like when you ask a question, sometimes people are asking questions because they await a specific answer, they want their own confirmation. So they say, okay, if you don't like my answer, don't ask the question, yeah? Okay, my dear Geshe. So we'll see each other tomorrow for other stuff. But I'm so, so grateful, and sending you plenty of
Oh, okay.
you need to
Okay.
rest, right, as well, and take good care of
Yes.
yourself, right? And
Yes,
I'll
yes, yes.
definitely see you tomorrow, and eventually we'll talk more some other day. Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for
My
everything.
pleasure. My
Yay.
pleasure.
Bye.